Boy, it's hard to believe that I'm actually standing on the trail at Ropers. You can see where my snowshoe track came up from the river. You can't really tell, but that's the main trail back toward the landing. And this is the trail going forward. I mean, it's like a cyclone has hit out here. I don't know how far this is going to travel, but I have to assume that it's like this all the way back. We've got some major chainsaw work to do before this trail is going to be accessible on foot, much less a four-wheeler. And back here in the big timber, the damage is minimized. It's actually fairly clear. Anytime you get out of the big pines and you get into the small popples, well, there's damage there too. That's the top of a spruce that's come down. These spruce are really bent and heavy. Boy, there's a lot of broken trees back in here too. And the snow is really, really deep. I think I'm gonna cross over. I can find a spot following this game trail and stay in the pines on the river's side. It seems like I've got better travel opportunities over there. I got fresh deer tracks here in front of me. Real fresh. It's a big deer moving on this trail. This is the ravine just past Becca's stand. You can see out to the trail, it's still a mess, still impassable. Well, here's my first wolf track of the day. I expected I'd find some. You can see he was bounding from there to here, crossed a couple of deer tracks. It's why I brought my 12 gauge so that I've got some defense, or at least a noisemaker, if the wolves decide that I am slower and easier to eat. There, I've come up back to a section of the trail. As best I can figure, that big pine you see back there is the jump off to the trail to the double stand. Here's a section of trail that's open for a little ways, but then back to impassable. You know, the deer are moving pretty effectively through here. I've seen a lot of beds through this stretch, and I'm finally making what I guess I can tell myself is pretty good time. I still hate going over downfalls. It's hard to do. But I don't know what kind of a machine we're going to need to get through this trail once the snow melts and we see how many of these trees spring back up. Be a job for a major league skidder. Which the only skidder we've got is us dragging branches. Here's what I'm talking about. There's a couple of these. They're in all directions. That looks like a Christmas tree. This is the top off of probably that spruce right there. Certainly a 40-foot spruce. You can see these tops laying down or hanging upside down all over back here in the trees. Well, there's a welcome sight, the stand at Trail Center. That means the pipe stand is less than 100 yards that way. The trail is a little more open here. I'm going to try to stay closer to it on the way back. But let's keep going. Interesting view south from the pipe stand. Is you can see the property line is just not very far away. All this alder brush is just crushed down now. We know there's a major trail in there. We definitely have to do a little chainsaw work to clear a shooting lane. Be interesting to see what happens out here to the food plot. But here's an indication from treetop level of what I've been dealing with the whole way. It's a mess. And so I'm going to start the hike back. First, I've got to clean all the snow out of my 12 gauge and make sure it's operational. I saw wolf tracks on the way back. I don't want to meet the guys who made it. You can see the ravine down to the river. I'm getting pretty close to the jump off to Becca's stand. So just 100 yards or so back to the truck, maybe a little longer. But it's a whole lot easier walking on my trail than it is blazing trail, that's for sure. Temperature's up now, getting big chunks of snow shedding off the branches up above. Makes big thumps. There, you can see fresh deer tracks in my snowshoe trail. At least the landing, it will be open. Oh, there goes another. Oh, that's a deer. 2 deer. Probably the deer I've been trailing that walked in my snowshoe track. You can just see a turkey walking back there on the north side of the shed. We're certainly going to have a lot of chainsaw work to do, but we're going to have to wait until the snow melts enough that the trees that can spring back. Otherwise, there's got to be, well, hundreds of trees crossing the trail. It's going to be a lot of work. Hey, buddy. That has to be the 10th deer I've seen on the back way out of Ropers. They're all just moving on the roads, I suppose, because the snow is so deep.